My name is Abigail Marsh. I'm a professor of psychology and neuroscience at Georgetown University, and I've studied the roots of altruism and compassion in the human brain for about 20 years. Everybody has read about people who save other people's lives. It's something that everybody's familiar with from news stories or movies, but it's completely different, as it turns out, when it happens. The accident happened when I was 19, and as I was coming back into town, crossing up over a bridge, a little dog ran out in front of my car. And the combination of swerving and hitting the dog resulted in my car starting to fishtail across the freeway. I finally came to rest in the fast lane of the freeway. And I just sat there thinking I was going to die at any minute until out of nowhere, a man appeared at the passenger's side window of my car, and he knocked on the window. He said, "You look like you could use some help." And then got the car running again, gunned us back across the freeway to park behind his own car, which was a BMW, as I remember. I'm pretty sure I forgot to say thank you. And he said, "Okay, you take care of yourself." And then he disappeared, got back in his car, and the night swallowed him up. And I'm certain that he saved my life. I'm interested in the subject because I think it had a really profound impact on me to know that a stranger, by sheer luck, was willing to save my life despite not knowing anything about me, by not even having the good grace to say thank you. And knowing how dangerous what he did was, I think made it all the more impressive. Care or compassion is itself motivated by just the apprehension or the inference that somebody else needs help, right? Somebody's in some sort of distress, they're in pain, they're in danger. And so if we want to understand altruism, why it is that people help strangers, we have to understand the sequence of events that leads from just detecting that somebody is in some sort of distress that leads to care, and that ultimately leads to altruism. Hopefully you remember the key structures that are involved in generating care for offspring, which is really important because we think that it's the capacity of mammals, certainly, to care for their offspring that is the sort of origin of all different kinds of care, all different kinds of care-based altruism in the world.
In the beginning, it was me who insisted on going to see the fireworks. My wife and I quickly ate and then went outside to buy some ice cream.
Un témoignage maintenant de celui qu'on a surnommé le héros au scooter. Il s'agit de l'homme qui a tenté d'arrêter le camion fou le 14 juillet au soir. Il a sauté sur le marchepied du poids lourd avant d'être frappé au visage et éjecté.
My wife becomes agitated behind me. She feels some wind getting stronger and stronger. She turns around and she sees a truck on the pavement running people over. By the time I understood what was happening, the truck was driving past me on the pavement, and I decided to drive right after it. My wife starts panicking. She drags me back. She doesn't want me to go. But at the same time, I brake and I tell her to get away precisely. And then I resume the chase on my scooter. I tried to catch up with the truck. The noise, the screams, I mean, this is horrible, horrible. I manage to catch up with it, and I throw my scooter in front of it. I try to throw my scooter in front of it. I fall, I get back on my feet, and I try to run to the cabin. It's like I have some stronger inner strength, and I manage to step on the truck's footboard, and the window's open, and I hit with all my strength in the face. There are no words, only the blows. No screams, nothing. He's moving like crazy, but he's got a gun in his hand. He shoots, but he misses me. And I keep on. I hit, until it stops. I hear gunshots getting closer and closer, and I slide under the truck's front left wheel. And that's when the police catch me. I'm a bit shaken, because I think the police don't know where I came from. And that's it. They handcuff me, they shake me. I hear massive confusion in the police's channels. There's chaos. After that, I'm beat. I'm exhausted for months. I just keep crying. And then around mid-August, it starts to worsen. And then I kind of switch off for about a month and a half. I have a syndrome. It's called sundown syndrome. And I don't remember anything.
This is really kind of an amazing phenomenon at a species level. And so that the even bigger question is, how did we get to the place, biologically speaking, as a species, that, along the course of evolutionary development, we developed the desire to engage in behaviors like these at all? There has to be something in addition to the ability to recognize others' distress and experience care, because all mammals can do that. So what's happening in addition to that? The amygdala means almond in Latin, and it is sort of almond-shaped if you look at it from the side. It's a structure that is underneath the surface of the brain, so it's sort of an ancient structure that we share with all other vertebrate species. And it's maybe about 2 centimeters or so in diameter. And it's a structure that's essential for quite a few different emotional and social processes, but it's particularly important for coordinating the experience of fear. Okay, Kurt, how you doing?
All right.
All right, we're ready to start the first scan. This is just a structural scan that lasts about 4.5 minutes, and you can just lie back and relax and hold nice and still while the scan is running, okay?
Okay, will do.
Perfect. But the group that we settled on for our first research was people who had decided to donate one of their own kidneys to a stranger, which is clearly an extraordinary form of altruism, to undergo surgery, to have a healthy organ removed, to be given to somebody that you've never met and in some cases may never meet. So I looked at how we respond to the sight of somebody else who is frightened. And what we found is that their amygdala was more reactive in response to the sight of somebody else's fear. So they seem to be more responsive to others' distress. So it seems that somehow they're built with brains that are just more sensitive to the sight of other people's need.
I keep seeing in my mind this lady lying on the ground that I managed to avoid. And this'll be forever etched in my memory. That's for sure.
Fear is there. Worry about what's going to happen is there constantly. But compassion is more powerful. You say, okay, this could happen to you, but continue, 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 continue.
When you're in a life or death situation, part of what the amygdala is doing is signaling another region called the hypothalamus to send messages down to actually your kidneys and to the adrenal glands that sit on top of your kidneys and that release adrenaline and cortisol in stressful situations. It is definitely true that when adrenaline is being released, your body is more capable than it would be when adrenaline is not being released. So that it kind of makes sense that very altruistic people would get an even bigger burst of adrenaline potentially when they're in a position to help.
It was the day before my mother's birthday, and she really wanted to have the family together. She said, well, what about a mountain bike ride? And this region of Canada, specifically in the Rocky Mountains, the weather can change really quickly, and it did. And a storm blew in really, really fast. As we rode our bikes back down the road, we could hear through the trees somebody yelling. We could see that there was somebody in distress in the water, way out in the water, so far that we couldn't necessarily communicate with them. All I could hear was that they were yelling for help. First 100 meters, I would say, I wasn't even able to put my face in the water. I was swimming arm over arm with my face up because it was just too freezing. And I could feel my heart palpitating, and I could feel the adrenaline rushing through my system. But I knew that the best chance these people had was for somebody to let them know that it was going to be okay. I believe I swam approximately 15 minutes to the canoe. As I got closer to what I now could see was a couple in the water, but they were so cold. They were both blue in the face. The woman's face was almost purple, in fact. And they had been there for quite some time, it would appear, because they weren't able to speak with me at all. They weren't able to communicate, and they were clearly in shock. I noticed on the front of the canoe, there was a rope. And so I take the rope, I wrap it around my left wrist, even though I can barely feel my hands, and I start to side stroke back to shore, thinking helicopter's going to be here any minute, just hold on, just keep warm as you can, keep exercising.